Hey, welcome back in. We are talking kids with Dr. Caitlynn this morning with our favorite Lexington pediatrician, Dr. Caitlynn Iddings. And Dr. Caitlynn, we're talking about scoliosis in kids. I remember as a first-time parent, and you have these little bundles of joy, and they seem perfect, but it was just hard for me to wrap my mind around what's our frame of reference? What are the symptoms? What are the signs we're looking for? Because they're just kind of these fat, fun little bundles of joy, and how do I make sure I'm tracking or aware of this? So what are the symptoms? What are we looking for?
And scoliosis can oftentimes be asymptomatic, right? So there's different types. The infantile type that you'll see in like babies, toddlers, is more likely to be sort of a genetic condition and associated with other symptoms. So if they're really young or have had it from birth, usually that's something that the orthopedic surgeons they're following very closely. They probably have been plugged in with other specialists because they might have other, kidney problems, heart problems, stuff like that. Now, what's more common, and it's, about 2 to 5% of the population will have scoliosis, is for it to start to occur right before you go through that pubertal growth spurt, right? And so we just always stress people, it's really important to keep those yearly checkups. You don't have shots every year, but you need your back checked every year. And they used to do it in school. Do you remember? They'd take you in a room, make you do that floor bend test. They just trained these people from the health department to come in. You couldn't get away with that anymore, I don't feel like. But so they aren't really doing them in the school system all the time anymore. So it really is important that you're coming in and having a trained professional check to see, because it can start out very subtle where you'll just notice okay, one shoulder looks a little higher than the other. They do that forward bend test and you're like, yeah, you've got, kind of a little more prominent upper back, a little more prominent lower back, and there's, different types of curves. There's C-shaped curves, S-shaped curves, and so to meet criteria for true scoliosis, you have to be greater than 10 degrees curved. And we don't tend to refer until they're greater than 15, but what we're trying to do is catch that early, because if you catch it early, you can intervene with bracing or physical therapy exercises, stuff like that, to prevent it from curving more and more and more to where it's causing symptoms of shortness of breath, heart problems, and needing to potentially have a brace or surgery, right?
Right.
So, but a lot of times kids don't even realize it. I had one girl that she was I said, oh, you're curved, and she said, does that make one of my shoulders sit higher than the other? And I said, yeah. And she was a ballerina, and she was like, my teacher keeps saying, get your shoulder up, get your shoulder up. And I'm like, I'm trying. And so, it can be just subtle things that you'll notice when they're in their swimsuit or leotard, oh, why does that shoulder seem a little off? And so if you ever see anything, you should get them checked, because like I said, there are things we can do to prevent worsening.
Well, and the case there again, to make sure you have a pediatrician and make sure you're going in regularly.
For your yearly checkups, yeah.
Yeah, without that strange waiting in line to have your back checked at school, which is long gone, you need your pediatrician.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dr. Caitlynn, good to see you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the info. Back after this. Stick around.